know, I'm always talking about activation and difference between activating the body when we sit tall, for example, because the spine's under compression, and then resistance. Resistance when we tense up because we're frightened of something, you know, pinging off or, you know, injuring ourselves. And then also the difference between avoidance and actually surrendering into a position when we recline, for example, we lay down and we sink, as opposed to avoiding the depth of a twist, you know. Does that make sense? So it's the same. You know, when we're practicing, we've got an injury or we've got an ailment, we've got a condition, or the wrists aren't given. We don't need to avoid practice because we've got pain in the wrists. We need to find a new way. You know, that's all it is. And that's the journey of yoga. That's ultimately re-establishing that sense of harmony or that sense of balance through our practice. Whatever it is that initially draws us to yoga is, you know, by the by. In time, it will funnel us in that direction to this very acute sense of awareness. That's what yoga does for us. I spoke at length a few weeks back about this idea of all these different versions of, and I suppose arguments for and against what yoga is and what yoga isn't. And ultimately, when it comes down to it, it's all of those things. It's a big expansion or a manifestation. It's got many faces, right? It's this core thing that manifests in so many different ways, you know? But it's what it does for us that's probably more relevant, more significant of a question, as opposed to what it is or what it isn't, right? And it seems obvious, logical. Okay, have we got questions? No, it's Monday, so we know what we do on a Monday, don't we? No, Monday, 3 times a week we're here. So for the people that aren't sure, Monday we challenge ourselves. We might move, we might be more towards that vinyasa. We hear that term thrown about a lot. So moving with the breath, inhale up, exhale down, that kind of stuff. A little bit quicker in the way that we move. But I might also introduce new transitions or new positions, or just ask you for more challenging versions of those transitions and positions. Even though I'm guiding us that way, it doesn't mean you have to do it though. Find what feels right for the body, right? You know, and equally, you know, if you're quite experienced in your practice and you're used to doing something, or you feel that drive to transition in a certain way, or to add a posture somewhere, it feels correct to do that, it feels right to do that, it feels appropriate to do that, and authentic mostly, then do it. Don't wait for me to cue it, you know. So we might stay down in a lunge, and you might think, no, I need to go up, I need to rise, I need to lift and lengthen the spine here, inward breath, then exhale, and I'll join you down. If we then move on to something else, it's fine, just catch up. Doesn't mean you're doing something wrong. That's another one as well. We're going to a position, oh, I went the wrong way. It's not the wrong way, go with it. You know, just when we do the other side, go the other way. You know, all right, that's it. I'll try to give options where I can, but I do forget, so doesn't mean they're not there. And Monday challenge, Wednesday alignment and form and posture. So we spend longer on Wednesdays, and Fridays we're down on the mat, twisting and sinking. Much more gentle practice, a restorative practice, all right? So it's not Friday, it's Monday. Let's go, let's start at the top of the mat. Any questions? Concerns? No? Okay, let's go. I'll bring the hands to heart center. Let me just double check my microphone is on. It is, lovely. Okay. So as always, arriving in the body, arriving on the mat. And we know what we mean by that. It's become quite a cliche expression, but it's very relevant. Step back from all those fluctuations of the mind, the movement of thought, sense of responsibility or commitment to work, and just bring the awareness in, observe the body in its state, honestly, as we are. Scan from head to toe. Maybe you're aware of an injury somewhere, maybe there's tension somewhere. Maybe we're hanging on, holding on to something that we've not processed. Or perhaps the body feels energetic, it feels charged, it's ready to move. Just acknowledging that and observing without conditioning as best we can, a quiet mind, not looking for an answer or not looking for a label. And then shifting the awareness to the breath, pranamaya, that subtle body beneath. Taking deep inhalation in through the nose. Expanding the tummy, lifting the heart space. And then as we exhale, being sure to empty out that exhalation. Push out that last bit of breath. A constriction of the abdomen. Releasing the hands down by the side on the next exhalation. And as we inhale, reaching wide and high, lifting the gaze here as well. Find that prayer position above the head. Really consciously expand the tummy, lengthen through the spine. And on the outward breath, start to bend the knees very slightly, a soft fold forwards, Uttanasana, over the legs. Bring the hands towards the ground. They should be able to touch. If they don't, bend the knees some more. Halfway lift, Ardha, Uttanasana, flatten the back, straighten the legs slightly to look forwards. And as we exhale, cradle the elbows, allow the upper body to be heavy. Start to slowly shift the weight between heel and toe. A little forwards and backwards momentum, a slight rock. As we start to consciously push out through the tailbone. Slowly beginning to straighten the legs a bit more. Releasing our bind, bringing the hands to the shins or fingertips to the earth for the halfway lift. Peek forwards, flatten the back. Exhalation to release and sway over towards the left side, bringing the head in towards the shin. A soft bow here, but push out through the tailbone. Continue stretching those hamstrings. And gently ease back through the center, rising halfway again. Outward breath to fold and sway over to the right side, bringing the head in towards the shin. Gently coming back through the center as we halfway lift. Exhalation to ground the palms, step back to a high plank. And just consciously push the earth away for a moment, grip with the fingertips. Just hollow knuckles here. Round off the upper back, activate the core slightly, pull the tummy in when we push the breath out and tuck the tailbone. Then drop the knees, chest, chin or forehead for Chaturanga Dandasana. We'll pull the shoulders back and look forwards. Don't use the hands really here. Inward breath. Exhalation to take a bow. Now starting to push with the heels of the palms. Pull the shoulders back. Lift a touch higher and wave back down. Or tuck the toes to wave through the body into Urdhva Mukha Svanasana, upward facing dog. Downward facing dog, Adho Mukha Svanasana. Just take stillness for a moment. Push up and out through the tailbone. For 3. For 2. And for 1. Start to take a walk towards the front of the mat. Let's arrive together a halfway lift, flatten the back. Exhalation to fold. And as we inhale, beginning to rise, round off through the spine. We stack the vertebra, keep the chin tucked until the last moment. Roll the shoulders back, arms go wide and high. Samastiti, bringing the hands down to heart center. Soften when you're standing here, contrary to that confusion between Samastiti, the balanced standing in stillness, and Tadasana, that activation in the mountain. We know we want to release the kneecaps, stand very gently, root down, tuck the tailbone very slightly, a long tall spine, but just focus the awareness to the breath. And be soft in the shoulders, be soft in the glutes, in the thighs. Deep cycles of breath here. For 5, for 4, for 3, for 2, and for 1. Releasing the hands down by the side. Inhale to reach up, find length. Exhale to release the hands, swan dive them down nice and wide towards the ground. As soon as those palms touch, step the left leg back to Anjaneyasana, a low lunge. We'll drop the knee, untuck the toes. Stay low for now, just come onto the fingertips. Lengthen through the spine, lift the chin on the inward breath. As we exhale, start to bow and round off, shrug the shoulders, tuck the chin in, rock the weight back to straighten that front leg. Only softly, don't worry if there's still a little bit of a bend. For our half Hanuman, Ardha Hanumanasana, for 3, 2, and 1. Shifting the weight forwards, back to the lunge. This time rise and reach. Sweep the arms towards the sky. Maybe stay low if it still feels a little early. Lean into that front leg for 3, for 2, and for 1. Inhale to push into that right heel, rise slightly. Exhale, release the hands, frame the foot. This time rock back, then straighten the spine and the leg. Inward breath, outward breath to bow. For 3, for 2, and for 1. Bring the weight forwards. We'll frame the front foot, tuck the toe, lift the rear knee. Step back, Phalakasana, the high plank here. Option to drop the knees after we arrive, or with control, slowly lower down, Chaturanga. Wave through the body, upward facing dog, Urdhva Mukha Svanasana. And hold here for a moment. Let the hips be heavy. Really push the earth away. Lift the chin. For 3, for 2, and for 1. Tuck in the toes, beginning to lift up and back. Adho Mukha Svanasana. Let's take a walk towards the front. Halfway lift, flatten the back. Ardha Uttanasana. Exhalation to pull in this time. Take a bind around the ankles, elbows wide. For 3, for 2, and for 1. Starting to walk our way up the legs, slow and steady. Uncoiling, arms go wide and high, the chin lifts, big deep breath. Same as before, the arms dive down nice and wide, search for the ground on the outward breath. Then step that right leg back, drop the right knee, untuck the toes, stay low on the fingertips here. Just look forwards, long spine. That's an inward breath. On the outward breath, sink down and back, rock the weight back, straighten that left leg. If there's a slight bend, don't worry. For 3, for 2, and for 1. We're shifting the weight forwards again, but this time rise and reach in Anjaneya. Option to drop the head back slightly if the neck and the shoulders allow. Lean into that front leg. Really push into the left heel and rise slightly, inward breath. Exhalation to release the hands. Frame that front foot, rock back, Ardha Hanumanasana. Straighten the leg and the spine. That's an inward breath. Exhale to fold. For 5, for 4, 3, 2, and 1. Shifting the weight forwards. Frame that front foot, tuck the toe, lift the knee, step back, high plank, Phalakasana. Slow and steady, knees, chest, chin or forehead, or with control, elbows almost completely tucked. Wave through the body, Urdhva. Lift the chin. And Adho. Up and back to the downward facing dog. Get ready to take a little bunny hop towards a squat position at the front. It might feel too early for that. If it does, just crawl or step your way there. Or if we're bunny hopping, come on to the ball of the feet. Look to between the palms and just float forwards. Ease yourself down when you arrive. So a little rock side to side helps to facilitate that. Slow and steady. You might find that you're up here, that's okay as well. Just use the forearms and the elbows to try and widen the knees slightly, but don't let the ankles push out too much. We want to work just outside that comfort zone, but not so much that we injure ourselves or cause ourselves unnecessary pain. If it's available, hands to heart center. Sit nice and tall here. 4, 3. 4, 2. And for 1, as we inhale, lengthen the spine, rise slightly. Exhalation, heading towards happy baby. Start to round off the spine, tuck the chin, rock back, catch the blades of the feet. And then let the spine be long and flat. Start to take that little rock side to side, almost draw figures of 8 with the hips. We're using the femurs here, like crowbars, to open the pelvis here. So maybe the hands are bound around the feet or around the ankles or perhaps behind the knees. But either way, we're pulling knees down towards the earth, but at the same time widening the thighs as well to help us open the hip or the hips. Little rock side to side. Remember the breath, mindful breath, expand in the tummy. And then shrinking on that outward breath. So we come back to stillness, bringing the knees in towards the abdomen, a hug around the shins here, lifting nose to knee. We shrink on that outward breath, then we release head and shoulders, but both feet start to rise in towards the sky now. Push out through the heels, hands down past the hips, pulling the toes back. Then a little bit of movement between pointing the toes and then pulling them back, that flexion forwards and backwards. We're at the next point, keeping the legs long and straight, lowering them away from the body, slow and steady towards the ground. Activating the core here. The flexors at the top of the thighs. As soon as the heels kiss, bend the knees, head to bridge, Setu Bandha Chaturanga. So we're lifting the hips on the inward breath, close off up the top here at Vishuddhi. So bring the chin in towards the chest. Expand the tummy, inward breath. For 5, for 4, for 3, for 2, and for 1. Slowly beginning to descend, bring the tailbone down, rock side to side, arms are wide here. Dropping the knees left to right, right to left. Still mindful breaths, balanced breaths, Samavriti. As we come back to stillness in the center, a hug of the knees in on the exhalation, lift nose or forehead to knee, then kick forwards to the seated staff, so we'll reach that L shape with the body. Legs go out in front, arms to the sky. Sit tall, push the chest forwards, push out through the tailbone. For 3, for 2, and for 1. Start to descend, folding over the legs on the outward breath. We'll find that resistance in the hamstrings and the lower back. When we do, bind around the ankles or the feet, then wave through the spine. Rise slightly, inward breath to lengthen some more. Exhalation to fold a little deeper here. If you find there's a big bend in the knees or it's very tight for the hamstrings, where a strap can come in handy, because you can wrap it around the feet and use that almost as if you were trying to click the femurs back into the pelvis and lead with the heart space. So we're pushing the chest forwards here as we sit tall, as opposed to leading with the head and driving the head forwards and still rounding off through the back. We want to make sure that, because we know we're under compression, that we're still lengthening the spine and then leading with that entire kind of central heart space, almost with a lifted chin on the way down. For 5, 4. Don't forget to breathe. For 3. For 2. And for 1. Slowly begin to rise, but take that right big toe in the right hand. Hasta Padangusthasana. As we do so, we'll lift the leg, draw a few little circles here with the heel. Sit nice and tall. We'll take a deep breath to expand and sit a little taller. And as we exhale, pull the leg out and around and in towards that outside part of the abdomen here. If there's a little bit of a bend in the knee, it feels a little too deep, that's fine as well. Just work towards straightening the leg and sitting nice and tall as we do so. For 3, for 2, and for 1. A bend in the right knee. Bring the sole of the foot into the inside of that left leg. Arms sweep wide and high. Janu Shirshasana. Janu is the knee, Shirsha means the top of the head. So we're bringing the head past the left knee, but equally we're activating that right leg, right hip. We're pushing the head of the right knee out and down almost. There's almost a slight rotation as we're twisted through the spine over the left leg. For 5, for 4, for 3, for 2, and for 1. Begin to rise. Search for that big toe. Hasta is the hand, pada is the foot, angushtha, the big toe. Extend out in front, lift the chin, sit tall, follow it down, Paschimottanasana, the west face. Take a bow here. Then bind the left big toe with the left hand. Start to rise, slide in the right hand up, sit nice and tall, little circles, little rotations. Really, we're just taking a dynamic approach to stretching the back of the leg there a little bit. We inhale and expand, sit tall. And as we exhale, pull the leg out and then back in again towards the outside of the abdomen. So we're finding that contact, if it's available, between the inner side, the medial side of the leg, the thigh, and the abdomen, or maybe part of the chest. For 3, for 2, and for 1. Still seated nice and tall. Allow a bend in that left leg. Bring the sole of the foot into the inside of the right thigh. Sweep the arms wide and high. Push out through the tailbone, start to fold. Chin's lifted on the way down. Outward breath. For 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Beginning to rise. Round off as we do so. As we take that bind, left hand to left big toe, extend and sit tall, lift the chin, then follow it down. Exhalation. Take that bow. We're going to work towards Chaturanga Dandasana. So as we rise now, bring the hands back past the hips. We want to activate the core to lift the legs, cross the feet, rock forwards, ground the palms, and kick out into your low plank, Chaturanga Dandasana. Wave through the body, Urdhva Mukha Svanasana. And then up and back, or stay low and slide back and up to Adho Mukha Svanasana. We'll bring the right leg underneath the body. Turn that left foot to 45 degrees. Remember to offset your stance in your Warrior 1. Virabhadra. Sweep the arms up towards the sky. Inhalation. Exhalation to sink down here. Remember, we're facing forwards, but really reaching with the arms, sinking the groin. Right knee above the right ankle. For 3, for 2, and for 1. Inhale to rise slightly. Start to turn towards 10 o'clock. Release the hands. Search for a bind here. Tuck the chin. Roll the shoulders back. Open the heart. And sink down. We'll stay here for 5, for 4, for 3, for 2, and for 1. Bring the hands to the tailbone. Start to round off and bring the chin in, but hands come to heart center. We rock the weight back and sink down to Skandasana. For 3, for 2. Don't worry if that rear foot asks you to come up on the ball of the foot, it wants to rise. Just make sure we don't collapse that inside ankle. For 1. Stay nice and low. Creep towards the front here. Left palm lines up with that right foot. Ball of the rear foot. Sweep the right arm towards the sky. Parivritta Ashwa Sanchalanasana. For 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Inhale to reach. Exhale for lizard. Bring the right hand inside the right foot. Start to round off, take a bow here. Exhalation. Inhale to lengthen the spine and look forwards. Let the groin sink a little bit here, be nice and heavy. Then option to step that right foot back. So you'll need to lean slightly towards the left side, or with me, stack the inside of the knee on the back of the elbow. We've been practicing this lately. Remember to look to the right on the way down. Then release the leg. Come back through the center, wave through the body. Urdhva. And Adho Mukha Svanasana. Release the breath as you push up and out. And adjusting that right foot, 45. Virabhadrasana on the left side. Left foot steps under, sweep the arms up. Inhale, rise a little higher than you need to. Exhale, sink down. Nice way to find your alignment on the way down, then on the outward breath. For 3, for 2, and for 1. Inhale, rise, turn to 2 o'clock, release the hands, search for the bind, tuck the chin. Then wave through the spine, bring the hands away, sink a little deeper, but stay tall. For 3, for 2, and for 1, bring the hands to the tailbone, start to round off, and then release the bind, hands to heart center, rock the weight back, sink down, Skandasana. For 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Start to hover towards the front, ground that right palm, ball of the rear foot, sweep the left arm up and out, push the earth away here, reach with that left hand, pull the left shoulder back, activating that rear leg as well. We're tensing that rear leg up, push out through the heel. Inhale to lengthen, a touch more through that left hand and left arm, then exhale, bring the hand down inside the foot. Take a bow, release the breath. Inhale, Uttam Prishthasana. Look forwards. Then stack the knee or step back. So higher than low plank. Look left if you stack and lower. Release the leg, look center, wave through the body. Up and back. Take a walk on the spot here. So wiggle the tailbone left to right, right to left. As we bend one knee, tip the bottom in the same direction as that knee that's bent. So bend the right knee, tip the bottom to the right, but push back towards the rear of the mat. Tip the bottom to the left when you bend the left leg. For 3, for 2, just releasing that tension in the lower body, lower lumbar, hips, knees, hamstrings. Back to stillness. Step under to warrior 2 here, right side, right foot moves. Sweep that left arm up and around, rise a little higher than we need to, sink down on the outward breath. Find the alignment. Contrary to warrior 1, we're opening everything out towards the side now. Really reach with the arms. Don't let that front knee drop in. We want to keep it above the right ankle where it's available, but at the same time, we're pulling this hip back. As we inhale, straighten the front leg, start to reach forwards for Trikonasana. Go slow and steady with this one. Right hand towards the earth. Left hand reaches towards the sky. If we're able to support the upper body weight, we can soften the quads, the muscles or the quads, the muscles on that right thigh, so the kneecap becomes mobile again. And then that way we're not resisting the stretch in the leg. For 3, for 2, and for 1. Release the left hand towards the tailbone. Draw a big circle towards the earth. Change hands. So left hand replaces the right. We twist on that rear foot to 45. Then we sweep the right arm up. Parivritta Trikonasana. Again, soften that right leg if the body allows. For 3, for 2, and for 1. It's right hand towards the tailbone this time. Sweeping down towards the earth. Line up all those heels at the front, so heels of the palms and that right foot. Flatten the back, peek forwards. Exhalation to bow, slide the hands away, arm the fingertips. Try and keep a long spine, don't round off here. You might find this is far too much. Blocks might help here to rest your weight. Or if you're at home, maybe stack some books. Rising again, sliding the hands back towards that front foot. We'll go onto the ball of the rear foot here. A big firm push. We need to create lots of length through the arms, but round off the body as we pull that right leg underneath and sweep it up towards the sky. Tripada Mukha Svanasana. Try and keep the hips parallel to the earth here, but let the left heel be heavy. Really push the earth away, push into the fingertips. For 3, for 2, and for 1. Keep the leg in the air. We're going to shift the weight up and over into Phalakasana and then lower Ekapada Chaturanga Dandasana. So one-footed Chaturanga. Then release the foot. Pull back and uplift the chin. And send the weight maybe backwards and upwards or up and back to Adho Mukha Svanasana. Make sure you arrive here. Push out through the tailbone. A couple of deep cycles of breath. And then step that left leg forwards underneath the body. Take a warrior 2. Windmill the right arm up and around. And sink down on the outward breath. And don't feel scared to look towards that rear arm, because it never does what we ask it to do. It feels like it's perfect. You look round and it's down here somewhere doing this. It's always the way. And then return that gaze, middle finger of the left hand. That's our drishti, our focal point. Very much about focus as we aim in Virabhadra. Inhalation to straighten that leg. Start to reach towards Trikonasana. Down we go. Left hand towards the earth. Right hand towards the sky. Really push the ground away. Pull the right shoulder back. For 5. 4. Make sure that the upper arm on the right side isn't dipping in. If you're not sure what I mean, you try and look in my direction without pulling your neck, but that shoulder sometimes dips down like this. We want to really lengthen and pull it back, expose the armpit. Inhale to reach. Exhalation, draw the right hand down and around past the tailbone. We're switching sides, adjust that rear foot to 45. Parivrtta Trikonasana, left arm reaches, we push the earth away. Pull that left shoulder back. So although the heart's open to the left side, we're closing off at Svadhisthana, just below the navel. So we're sort of almost closing part of the pelvis off to the inner thigh, that left hip. Inhale, reach. Exhale, draw the left hand towards the tailbone. Bring it down towards the earth. Line up the palms here initially. Halfway lift with that left foot. Then as we exhale, start to slide the hands away. Take a bow over the leg. Parshvottanasana for 5, for 4, for 3, for 2, and for 1. Slide the hands back, line them up with that left foot. Then a big push, really push the earth away. Start to lengthen the arms, but round off through the body. Ball of the rear foot, slide that left leg or left foot towards the sky. Right heel becomes very heavy as we push into the fingertips. Try and square up or make those hips a little parallel, but really lengthen through the leg. We'll keep the foot in the sky, shift the weight up and over towards the plank, and then lower, Ekapada, one-footed Chaturanga Dandasana. Release the foot. Urdhva Mukha Svanasana. Adho Mukha Svanasana. Take a little walk on the spot again, release that tension. And continue the walk towards the front. Once we arrive, we'll bend the knees, sweep the arms wide and then high, but let the knees shift forwards here. Let the weight shift forward slightly as we take Utkatasana. Sink down. For 3. For 2. And for 1. We're letting the tailbone lead now. We're going to go towards Shalvangasana, the shoulder stand. Be kind to the neck and use the upper arms to push and lift the pelvis, lift the legs and catch the rib cage. If you're not sure, take a peek. We rock down and back and then kick up. And we're tucking the tailbone here. Remember not to force the neck. If it feels a little too much, then don't do it. Remember to breathe. Last cycle of breath here. And then beginning to take a bend in the knees, start to lower them down, bring them towards the face. It's going to be a slow descent as we round off the spine and rock. Let the head and the shoulders lift as we rock forwards. Slow and steady, hopefully. Are we in one piece over there? And then release the breath as we bring nose or forehead to knees. Shrink the body. Soles of the feet to the ground. Knees are up, hands down past the hips. A return to Setu Bandha Chaturanga. Push the hips towards the sky. Option to interlace the fingers here and take that bind underneath the body. Bring the shoulder blades underneath the back towards the spine and almost slightly externally rotate the upper arms so you can feel part of the tricep, that muscle on the back of the upper arm. Press against the ground, the deltoid, that's the muscle at the top of the arm. For 3. For 2. And for 1. Inhale, push a touch higher. Exhalation to slowly bring the tailbone back down towards the earth. We'll release the bind. Arms can move wide here as we drop the knees side to side, left to right, right to left. And then coming back to stillness, bring the soles of the feet together, Supta Baddha Konasana, a reclined, bound angle. Kona means angle, so we hear that word a lot. Trikonasana, Konasana, Upavista Konasana, all these different positions with the angles in. So soles of the feet together, tuck the tailbone, bring the lower back a little closer to the earth, let the knees drop wide. It might feel nice to have the arms outstretched here, or perhaps we feel a little exposed, so we're bringing the hands onto the abdomen, onto the chest. Or there's an option to emulate the legs here with the arms by interlacing the fingers, bringing them behind the back of the head there. Just about where the Bindu chakra is at the top of that little triangular bone on the skull. We're letting the elbows drop wide, really opening the shoulders here in the same way that we open the hips. Reminding ourselves that our reclined positions, we don't have that compression on the spine, so we can really surrender, we can yield, let the body fall loose and heavy. Perhaps the awareness is focused to the breath, quietly observing. Now we might find agreeable to spend some time in this position, or perhaps we're ready to transition. If we start to bring the elbows to a close around the face, and then lift the head, pulling the chin in towards the chest. If we soften the neck here, take Take a gentle stretch down the back of the neck. And then as we inhale, start to expand and open the heart space again, bringing the head back down to the earth. We'll release the bind. The arms sweep wide, out and around and down, searching for the outside of the thighs. And then pushing the elbows into the mat, we can use the hands and the strength in the arms to start to close the knees. We might bring the knees together and widen the feet towards the outside of the mat, like a counter position for those open hips and the open pelvis. We're now closing off. Again, there's always an option to spend time in positions like this if it feels that the body benefits from it particularly. Or if we're ready, maybe any other last little movements, a little rock side to side or a happy baby. Or releasing the arms and legs, the length and the width of the mat for our final relaxation, our final pose. Our stillness as we finally give the body onto the ground. So we surrender to that stillness, that numbness that overcomes the body as it's heavy against the earth. And begin to sink here. As always, for our 45, our short practices, we're a little bit starved for time in our Shavasana, I'm afraid. So we'll take a few deep cycles of breath together, releasing the breath all at once now. And then as we inhale to expand for 4, 3, 2, 1, and out for 4, 3, 2, 1. In the nose for 4, 3, 2, 1, and out for 4, 3, 2, and 1. Beginning to lengthen through the body, point the toes, take the arms over the head. A nice big expansion as we stretch. And reach out through the body one last time. As we exhale and bring the arms back, very mindful of the lower back, we'll bring the knees up and in towards the abdomen. Nice little hug around the shins or around the knees. Little rock side to side, and then maybe turning softly through one side or rocking forwards into our seated position when we're ready. We can take Sukhasana, which is an easy seated position. Legs can be in front or crossed. Or if we're practicing our lotus or our half lotus, Padmasana, then we can take that as well. Deep inward breath, lengthening one last time together, reaching wide and high. We'll search for that connection with the palms above the head. Bringing the hands to heart center for our morning mantra. Aum Karagri Vasate Lakshmi, Karamate Saraswati, Karamule Tu Govinda, Prabhate Karadashanam. Aum Shanti, Shanti.